What's cracking, people? You know, it's your boy AK. So today I'm gonna hit you guys with some timeless motivation. So as the title of the video says, this video is called Ground Zero. So it's a future tense type video, if that makes sense. As the video goes down, it'll kind of explain that as well to you, kind of understand what I mean by that. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So let's get straight into it. So the main purpose of this video today, as I mentioned, it's like a timeless motivational video. So just want to inspire some people, inspire myself as well. So I want to look back on this video and say that this is what I've accomplished. The reason being I actually decided to get it started though, was just because of recent activities in my life. Just gonna shed some light on that. So recently I got fired from my job. I've been working there for the past year. So it was kind of like a home type job, if that makes sense, because I'm always there. Uh, but it wasn't like a hard impact for me personally because at a certain point I was kind of getting fed up of it already. Because it wasn't like my passion. It wasn't something I really wanted to be, and it was still a job for me. Um, I won't go into like the details of all of that, but it was a pretty cool place to be. It was commission sales, so it was nice income at the same time as well too. But at a certain point I found myself becoming comfortable, which was not something that I wanted for myself because as an individual personally, I'm gonna achieve a lot because I have a life. I have to achieve a lot. It only makes sense, you know. It's otherwise it's just a waste. Like I look, for example, around last year, December, Juice World. I wasn't like a big fan of him personally, but I had to respect his art because he was the type of individual to put his soul into his work. And when you put your soul into something, you have to respect it, you know. So seeing that from him, seeing his age, and then seeing what happened to him at such a young age, it was sad, but it was eye-opening for me because now I'm like, well, yeah, you can accomplish all of this whenever, but time's not guaranteed. So while you have it, make the best of it, you know, which was really important for me because it showed me that I really don't want to be comfortable because why should I be, you know? I'm not really where I can ideally be, so why should I settle like that, you know? So as I mentioned, it wasn't like that big of an impact for me, um, because it's just a job, as I mentioned, you know? Yeah, so just to kind of shed some light into why I'm in the situation that I'm in currently. So I went to school for software engineering a couple years back. Software engineering or developing programs in general is a passion for me. It's just creativity at its infinite state, which is pretty cool for me because I love being creative. I love expressing myself in that form. So it really stood out to me as a career choice. While in school, however, but to be fair as well, I did go to school for the knowledge because knowledge is important. I just wanted to understand how to get this. Like I see this here, how can I get this, you know? So that stood out for me, and that was like my main focus. That was my main purpose of going to school. While going to school, however, I kind of realized that the path that they want you to take is more of a career choice where I'm locked in for years into like a firm, and it didn't make sense to me personally. So 2 weeks before graduation, actually, I I quit. I dropped out. Reason being was I chose a path that would show people and show myself that you can actually get anything you want, no excuses, if you actually go after it. For me personally, like I look up to people like Mark Zuckerberg and all those guys, and yeah, they were in school, but they didn't even finish school to get to the point where where they are currently. They need school like that, and that's because of the availability of information that we have all around us. So my choice or the path that I chose was to try to shed some light on that because I see people going to school with the hope that this job will be the best thing that ever happened for them, and then they're in that job and then they're just sad, and like 50 years down the road you're like, shit, I wasted my life, you know. And I don't want that for myself, and automatically I don't want that for like anybody, because it's like, I want you having life, I want you to be able to enjoy it to the fullest, you know. So me seeing that and me choosing that as well too, that's the reason why I went through like a kind of 2 year phase. Like currently it's 2 years since then. Like a 2 year phase of just like jumping between like regular jobs. It won't be like regular jobs because like I'm not regular, you know. I'm still striving for excellence. So it's not like I'm settling. It's just I chose a harder route. I won't say it's a harder route because, to be honest, throughout this 2 year journey, um, it was a process of me discovering myself as well too. Because from the point of conception to the point that I was 2 years ago, all I was doing was learning. Because at that stage in my life, I was like a sponge. So everything that comes to me I absorb. To It's information. Information is information regardless, and information is important, you know. So I was learning a lot, but at a certain point I had to now apply this information to something. So I went through like a 2 year journey of myself personally. It took me 2 years, but it was really eye opening for me personally, because now I feel more connected to myself. I feel more driven. I feel that I actually have the confidence to get stuff done, without second guessing. Second guessing is like used to be like one of my biggest things as well too. Now I don't even have to second guess, you know. Um, but yeah, this was more like me trying to like prove that to myself and prove that to people who come after me and after them too, you know, to show them that anything is possible, you know. So through this like 2 year journey, as I mentioned, was important like every step of the way. As I mentioned, there were a lot of lessons in there that, to be honest, if I didn't go through them, I won't be the person that I am today. And I'm very proud of the individual that I became, or that I am. But as it progressed to, it became like the lessons were more directed. So it's more like there's no if or buts. This is how it is, and it's either you learn or it keeps happening again and again. So that was pretty cool, and that was like last year for me, which is 2019. 2019 were filled with a lot of lessons like that, and with each one, I kind of grew into like a better version of myself, which was pretty amazing for me to see, because I saw that growth as well for myself. Um, but yeah, so stepping into like this year now, 2020, it was more of a fact that whatever you want to achieve, you kind of have to get it done yourself. Like there's no saviors coming like to do anything for you. It's all up to you at the end of the day. Because as I mentioned, like Juice WRLD, like look at him, like he's a sick guy and everything like that, and then just like that, everything was over, you know. So with life, you kind of have to maximize the time that you have, because you kind of have to, you know, otherwise, as I mentioned, it doesn't make sense, you know. But because of all of that and because of all that I went through now, I kind of went into this year, like I didn't start it off with like any type of resolutions or anything like that. It was more of a, yeah, I could set this, but I just have to get it done. It's just a matter of getting it done. So this year, sorry, I stepped in with like this challenge, a 6 month challenge, because I read this thing. It was like 6 months of focus can take you like so much ahead in life, you know. So for 6 months, automatically I'll keep you guys posted accordingly as well too. What I'm gonna be working on is discipline overall. Discipline is the biggest summary of any successful story. Um, Within that, automatically there's like focus, which for me personally is something that like I really have to work on, because like I read this other meme where it was like distraction is the biggest thief, because it will take your time in exchange for nothing, which was the point. There's no end product, you know. So me knowing that and seeing that as well too, and going in with that refined mind frame, you could say. It's kind of cool as well too, because now I'm actually getting stuff done. Consistency as well too is under there as well too, because just to kind of illustrate that, like for me, I'm very passionate about music. Music, I would put it on top of the charts for myself as like my passion. Um, but my first song that I dropped was like 2 years ago. Then my other song after that was 2 years later, you know. But like, I'm not saying I wasn't making music in between that point. I was making a lot of music. I just wasn't um like ready enough to post it. And I would say that's because of just the mindset I was in. I don't know, I was going through that phase as well too, but it was more like I wasn't consistent. And me seeing that as well too showed me that I need to work on consistency, because at the end of the day, like, for a seed to grow, you have to keep watering it, you know? So consistency is major as well too. But the main thing, as I mentioned, is just actually getting it done. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on this year. So for this year, as I mentioned, it's a 6 month challenge. So I'm gonna drop a video in 6 months to just show you like updates as to like where I am currently in life. Automatically, I don't know what to expect. I'm not downing or upping, I'm just open-minded to like whatever comes. Um, but what I want to be focusing on this in these upcoming months is my music in a more forefront. Not going into much detail, but more focusing on like my talents and seeing how my talents could actually help me in the long run as well too. So I'm investing my time into music more primarily now. I have my businesses that I'm gonna start. So my businesses are more based around stuff that I can actually get done. So I look around at like my capabilities. For example, I did software engineering. Now I can be a freelancer as a software engineer. So the different things. So I just merged ideas together to kind of build something for myself, which I could call my business. So that's like a side income, which the goal is to make that as my main income overall through over a course of time. Um, then my hobbies as well too. Like I'm a dancer. I do art. I do videography and all that type of stuff. I'm doing a YouTube video right now, so it's like it's just like a also another way of marketing yourself. So you can also use your hobbies to market yourself in general, which is major because that's kind of what it's all about, getting yourself out there. But as I mentioned, yes, 6 months. I want to kind of show you ground zero and then show you above after that. But see you 6 months from now. Yeah. Make these chips, I run it. Big drips like ships, see it running. So much shine around my neck, leave you stunning.